What role, if any, do you think the mayor plays in education, the quality of public education in your city?
Huge. It's a workforce development issue. I mean, yes, at the fundamental level, there's a school board, and we're not like some cities where the city has taken the school district under their jurisdiction. So we have separate, and those policies and the types of education and the types of teachers are all part and parcel of the school board's decision-making process. But workforce development is an essential part of what the city does and what a mayor does in terms of promoting your community. The mayor can do a lot of things. One is make the citizenry aware of how serious the problem is. Number two, actually call to action for businesses and foundations and neighborhood groups and faith-based groups. We have so many organizations doing a little to make sure our kids stay in school and that make sure our schools are really top-notch. We could actually have many more people involved. But I also think there is another thing that we can do, in addition to the bully pulpit and the call to action and making people aware, and that is that we can prioritize, like, for example, infrastructure decisions around our public schools. I mean, by that I mean, if you tell your citizenry, we're making sure that all the roads, all the sidewalks, all the public parks, and all the community centers in close proximity and libraries to schools are top-notch and funded, that says because we value education. So there's actually even that type of decision-making that we can enter into.
What's the Fort Worth mayor's role in education?
Well, what my role would be is a father of a 4-year-old. My wife and I adopted a little boy, and brought him home from the hospital. And I laugh about it. I'm the only guy drawing Social Security with a 4-year-old, trying to make sure that the school systems are good enough for him to go to public school where I think he belongs. So being not only a mayor who advocates quality education, but as an individual, I'm concerned about our schools, and I've made it a priority in this race. When I was on the council, we were able to coordinate a lot of programs with the school board, and I think it's the same taxpayers, and I think that there is a lot of room for there still to be great cooperation with the school district. Sometimes we have personnel, sometimes we have money, but we don't have facilities. They have facilities. And with a little effort, we can make sure that we support our school system, and we make sure that we have that we all agree that a quality education is a basic need and a basic right in a great city. And I think that the council can be a real champion, or it can be a real cheerleader for our school system. And we're going to have to sit down. It's like anything else. We need to sit down with the school district and say, what can we do to assist? We can't run the schools, but we can sure assist.
What's the mayor's role, if any, in education?
The mayor has a major role in education. The city will never grow. We can't attract good jobs at every level until we have good education. We must have strong schools, and the mayor must meet with the school board, meet with the superintendent, meet with our corporate partners and our philanthropic partners. I've got a strong history. I graduated through Fort Worth ISD, went to South High Mount, Stripling, and Arlington Heights. So did my husband, and our children all three went through the Fort Worth ISD schools. They're all graduates of Paschal High School. I spent 17 years working on site-based decision-making teams at 5 different schools, which are the parent, community, corporate partnerships for the schools. I've served on numerous superintendent committees. I think we must reach out, and I have several school board members who've endorsed my campaign because they believe we can have a strong connection to the schools. I think it's crucial that we bring strong education here.
What's the role of the mayor in Fort Worth for education, given that there's a separately elected school board and a superintendent who runs the show?
Exactly. And I think that's also a problem many are encountering, because people actually think the city council and the mayor have something to do with it, and they don't really. There are 3 things that we can do, really. One is encourage more participation by the citizens to get involved with their school board, get involved with their elections, go to school boards, have their voices heard. The city council can propose joint business ventures with school districts to help finance things, and that's worked very well in the past. But ultimately, the third thing we have to do is make certain that the mayor and the city council are willing to talk about this problem and keep it out there so that people are aware of it. What happens is we talk about it for a few weeks, and then something good happens, and so people retreat back and don't speak about it. And if we're going to be serious about fixing this issue, the mayor and the city council have to let the citizens know they care about education as a top priority.
What's the mayor's role in education? Because in some big cities, Dallas, Chicago come to mind, the mayor has said it's really important.
Well, obviously it's important. I mean, education is important to everyone. And as you point out, in the state of Texas, school districts are not coexistent with city districts as they are in some states. And so the primary responsibility for funding of education lies with the state legislature. And obviously there's nothing that city government can do with respect to that, except act as city governments always do in terms of being ambassadors to the legislature and making sure that legislators know the particular needs of their districts. You know, since I served in the legislature, I know that happens quite a bit, and it's something that's very important for legislators to get that information. And my state contacts and my service in the legislature would allow me to serve in that function. Additionally, however, and more importantly, is that the city can and does partner with the school district, even though their geographical boundaries are different. The city does partner with school district in things such as early childhood development programs and after-school care. And in addition to that, Mayor Moncrief, for instance, has talked about the benefit of public-private partnerships. This is one area in which public-private partnerships can be very important and very effective. My wife, for instance, is on the board of Campfire USA, and they've instituted an after-school program for large employers in the area and working in conjunction with the school district and the city in order to make sure that those things are available and supported by the city.